once you decide that you are going to live for you and not anyone else, and not for what anyone else tells you you should live like, and you are going to choose joy, there is something within you that will start to unfold and allow you to go deeper into a space of what an amazing being you are. Can you believe you let yourself do this? And so those little steps start to be noticed. I also changed my perspective of thinking, and it takes some fine-tuning. You really have to listen to the mental chatter that's happening. When I would go out to the pool, am I going to let the side that says, everyone's looking at you, you're alone, you don't have friends in the chair next to you to talk to, you're just with your book and your music, what kind of person comes alone on a Saturday? What kind of person goes alone to a wedding? What kind of person? There is going to be that side, but it can be released with practice. I instead would walk in with this air about myself of, I am enjoying the pool today, and I have my favorite book with me and my favorite music. And when you start to believe that about yourself, it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks. You start radiating this sense of, I am in joy with myself. I love being with myself in this moment. And those would be the days where someone would come talk to me, or, hi, which apartment do you live in? Or, and the other days where I walked in with my sunglasses on and my hat low and ran to a pool chair and kind of hid from the world and, oh, I don't want people to see that I'm alone. Oh, just draw that experience in, where all of a sudden there's a group of 6 girls next to me chatting, and over here there's all these friends, and I would just feel even more alone. So you have to make the choice to say, okay, there is that part of the human mind that's going to try to make me feel less than, but I choose to take a new perspective, and I choose to celebrate that I am somebody choosing my own life, that I am somebody who doesn't want to be sitting next to a partner halfway happy with my life. I would rather be alone, sitting here appreciating the sunlight in this book I'm reading, than arguing with my partner about where we're going for dinner for the 5th time. So when you start looking at it like that and giving yourself credit for the steps you've taken, life starts to open in a new way. Or you start allowing yourself to go for a walk alone and noticing nature again. Things that I totally forgot about with my old lifestyle. Because you're immersed in the drama of everyday life, the unhappiness of everyday life, the wondering what you're going to make for dinner, wondering if you'll go out that weekend with your partner, all things that don't really matter. But unless you allow yourself to step out, you don't get to discover that. So the joy of discovering the re-entry into the space of, I am alone, and I am alone, and owning it, and I am alone, and joyfully saying, this is my choice. I am not alone because I am not worthy of a partner. I am alone because I want to love myself this time and enter into a relationship where I am totally confident with who I am, instead of looking for a partner to validate or affirm I am a wonderful person. And in order to do that, the space of alone needs to be there. So after I decided I do not choose any longer to anchor myself to a career that will give me stability, because that is the only way to live, and I'll never find a job again, or any of those old voices. I decided to kind of go within and say, where do I want to live? Do I even want to live in this town that happens to be where my family is, and also where my ex is, and maybe I don't need to live here anymore? And that in itself was a, whoa, I can leave? I can live somewhere else where no family is, or no one's around, or I don't know any friends, I'm totally alone. And so there's that hesitation, and then all of a sudden a burst of, yes, I can leave and go anywhere I want. Why not go somewhere beautiful? So one summer, after a really tough year of teaching, I journeyed out to California. I went to Colorado. I thought for sure, California is going to be where I live. I will live by the ocean and be absolutely in joy. And so then I get to California and I realize the energy there isn't quite what I expected, and just went, Move on to Colorado. I land in the airplane and just a burst of realizing, this is where I want to be. I then went on to travel a little bit more, came back with the sense of, okay, out of all the places, Colorado was calling me. Do I have it within me to call my principal right now and say, I'm resigning from my position, I will not be back next month? It took a while, and then suddenly I did it. I made the call, and I did a dance of happiness around that room. I cannot tell you the freedom that came in, but it didn't come in until I made the call. I really had to move the energies, the way I would put it. You have to make a decision and say, this is what I want. I want to live somewhere beautiful. I don't want to be tied down to something just because it's safe. So the process of this miracle truly began after I made that phone call to my principal. The energy started moving, and then it hit me, wow, I have to go back and deal with my life now. I have a lease with my apartment. In the old way, everyone would say, you're crazy, you're gonna have to pay a lot of fines, it's never gonna work. What were you thinking? But I went into that leasing office with this energy just radiating out of me that I am choosing life. And I told that woman in front of me, I am moving to Colorado. I know I need to give up my apartment, and it may not be exactly within the month that I wanted to, but is there anything you can do for me? And she just responded to that joy in this amazing way, and she said, wow, you know, that's amazing. I know someone who moved to Colorado, and I would love to help you out. Let's see what I can do. Oh, you've got a great unit. Let me see if I can put you up next for anyone looking to lease. And if someone comes in and wants to live there, you don't have to pay any fines. Boom, done. All of that worry, because I had been kind of ruminating over this for a couple months before I left for my summer trip. You know, what would happen if I decide to move? Can I ever get out of this lease? And all that worry for nothing. Once you make a choice and you go with it, wow, the flow comes in. And so that was the beginning of the miracle. House done. Selling the things, a little more of a personal journey for me, getting rid of a lot of belongings that you've had a long time, but it was in the end so freeing. Once I got through that packing process, I started looking on Craigslist and just saying, I want to live by the mountains. I want a beautiful, joyful home. It took, I want to say, saying no to what I didn't want before what I did want came in. So I had to start applying to ads, or I noticed nothing was coming. Every house I looked at was nothing of what I wanted. And so I started just saying, okay, what are the ones I might be able to do? And I'll write them and see if a flow starts happening for me. And so I did, and it turned out a woman really wanted me to come, and I had to say no in the end. This isn't what I want. So I wrote her that very nicely, and that very night, a new ad came up on Craigslist for a gorgeous home by the mountains. Exactly what I was looking for, with my own garage, furnished. I didn't have to bring anything with me. And so I wrote the woman, and of course, immediately this response, I'd love to have you come. I know you're from out of state, but you know, let me send you even more pictures. Let's call and talk and interview on the phone. So here again is another process where most of the mass consciousness out there would say, this is never going to work. You can't live in a house where you've never met the person. They're not going to let you come. Well, she did. And I drove out with just a car full of things, never in my life living outside of Illinois, drive myself to Colorado on this 2-day journey of bliss. Just listening to my favorite songs on the radio. I see the mountain range come in to view, and I just start crying, tears of joy. I am home. I did this. Oh my gosh. I am living the exact way I choose to live. I get to the house, no job in my future, decide, oh, maybe I'll sub, but at the same time, I'm not worried about that, because I had taken my retirement account out of my teaching job in Illinois and said, I'll never be living in this state again. I choose to live in beauty, and let's just go for it. And so I have some money in the bank, which is good, but at the same time, that joy of life and that security of just, this is what I wanted to do and I'm doing it, I cannot tell you how much then life will come through for you if you are in that space. Because I wasn't worried about a job, it came to me in 24 hours. That was one of the miracles. Everyone had told me, you will never find a teaching job, they're so hard to find. All of, again, the voices and criticisms you get from the outside world. But I moved into a house. One of my roommates came up to me the next day, found out I was a teacher, said, would you be interested in working with autistic children? My boss is looking for someone right now. So within 24 hours, without looking, here comes a job lined up. Amazing. And when I left Illinois, I remember thinking, you know, I've always loved autistic children in my classroom. Wouldn't it be a joy to do something with that? And I kid you not, 2 days later, there it is, handed to me. It still kind of blows my mind that can happen, that the universe can work for you that way if you allow it, if you're not worried about it, if you're not trying to micromanage and plan. Had I tried to find a job before I moved to Colorado, I think it would have stopped the energy, it wouldn't have worked. Sometimes you just have to take a leap of faith. And once you have that joy going for you, you will be amazed what comes out of it. But you do have to take that step. Yeah. So the miracle of moving states with ease, finding a job with ease, spending time with myself. Now this is where it comes in. Wow, I would go on day trips by myself. Me, a person who used to be shy in my old life, you know, oh, I'd never go to the zoo by myself. What would people think of the person walking by themselves? Just crazy thoughts I had back then. I would enjoy my time at the zoo. I would drive down to Colorado Springs. I would visit the Garden of the Gods. I would go hiking by myself, having the time of my life. And in that, a group of friends just came in, attracted to that type of energy. I started meeting people. I started getting asked to go on dates again. It was just a flow that never stopped. And it was all because I chose what my heart desired without fear, without saying, but I need all these things lined up first. It was just no but, I'm doing it. I would say allowing myself to choose yes to life, yes to what I want to do is completely new. I was living in an old sense of security in the best way. I was extremely good at it. I was amazing in the business world, great at my job, great at saving money, lining things up. But letting security go brings in joy again. It really does. You're not focused on what you need to save up for, what you don't have, or what you need to get. You're focused on what I have right now is everything I need. And what I want to do is travel. And so me, someone who had never left the United States, besides maybe journeying to Mexico with my university friends, within 1 year of leaving my teaching job, moving to a new state, loving Denver, I signed up and I traveled to Egypt for 2 weeks. I traveled to Kauai for a week. I left the autistic job and decided to travel around the world to Europe, and I stayed there for 5 months. So now I have more stamps in my passport than I ever imagined possible. So I guess if you follow your dream, you'll start seeing it. It will come true because you are the creator of that dream. That life force behind it will help to line everything up to support you. And that unlimited life comes when you release the need to be secure. You release the need to follow the voice of fear. You release the need to look for other people to make you feel better. And only look within.